everyone to the fifth and final episode of When Jewish Life Goes Viral. In this series, we're looking at Chabad's response to the effects of the coronavirus pandemic on Jewish life and events. So today we're here with Rabbi Yosef Chaim Kantor of Chabad of Thailand. Rabbi Kantor is used to arranging a Seder for 5,000 people, but this year that's all changed. So
yes.
First of all, what's the situation there with the pandemic?
Well, just now the Prime Minister announced that there's going to be a nationwide curfew from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. It's not a total lockdown during the day. Bangkok is a party city. They want the people shouldn't be congregating at night.
Okay, so what would you usually be up to at this stage in a normal year, a few days before Pesach?
I must say, actually, I'm more busy now than I even usually am. Usually at this stage, I would be seeing how many people have registered, making sure that all the various departments that are in charge of preparing the food are doing what are operating, trying to make sure that the funding that we need in order to fund all of this is somehow either procured or borrowed or whatever it is, so that we can keep buying the supplies. I would be working with the people working on the content of the evening, although everybody knows how to do a Seder, but it's totally different to deliver a Seder to thousands of people and still try and maintain the personal Pesach Seder table feeling, which is very important. And I would really be in an overseeing mode, and at the same time also dealing and trying to make sure that my community has the needs for their Pesach. We also have a community Seder, which I lead in English, and I have another rabbi with me who leads a separate Seder for the local community in Hebrew.
How many other Sedarim besides the two?
Yeah, the way it works is the biggest Seder we have is in Koh Samui. It's in an outdoor space that we put up tents, 5 tents that we put up. So we have to bring we have to literally create a whole, like a Pesach village, be able to host the 2,000 people that come. So there's a team that works on the logistics. There's a shliach there, Rabbi Goldschmidt. He works on the content of the actual delivery of the Seder. Last year we brought an organizer from Israel who came with his team. We were set up to do that this year too. And we have, I think, 3 or 4 Sedarim in different venues in Phuket, each one having a few hundred people. In Chiang Mai, we have a large venue led by the shliach who's there permanently. In Laos, we have a Seder. We had one last year in Pai, to which we just sent a shliach. Pai is like a small mountain resort, about 3.5 hours from Chiang Mai. It's very difficult to get there. In Bangkok itself, we had Rabbi Wilhelm, who does the backpacker Seder. He had 2, so each one had a few hundred people. We had Rabbi Ashkenazi here in Bangkok, who was leading the local Hebrew Seder, and I led the local English speaker Seder. But altogether, we had 6,000 or 7,000 people first night.
So you said you're busier this year.
The difference this year is that I think everything in our world is all about really getting back to the core and the essence of things. If I have to say that for those, unfortunately, that are in hospital, all the things that usually come along with somebody in hospital, the empathy, the visits, the food, the flowers, the chocolates, all that's gone. People pass away, unfortunately, and usually what goes along with passing away is not just being buried, it's also the funeral, with family, with grieving, with Kaddish, with Shiva, all that's gone. Nobody can leave their house. So you have a 99-year-old woman who usually would have had hundreds of grandchildren in attendance at a really special patriarchal funeral, and barely a minyan. It's at the essence. I think the same thing also with Pesach around the world. Usually Pesach is the event where everybody gets together with their grandparents and with their grandchildren, with friends and with family. There's almost nobody that ever has Seder alone, if they can help it. And this year, Pesach will be celebrated, but Pesach has gone back to the core. Core being that matzahs will be eaten, Yetzias Mitzrayim, the going out of Egypt, will be talked about. People will do the Seder, but it's stripped of all of the other things that it's grown into, wonderful things. For us, it's the fact that we cannot do a communal Seder. So Pesach is still here, and the Jewish people that are here in Thailand are our responsibility. So we've set out to identify any Jew that we can here in the Kingdom of Thailand, the Royal Kingdom of Thailand, and make sure that we give them the means to have a Seder. So we've done Zoom classes, and then we sent out matzahs and wine. Then we have a standing offer. We'll send anybody anywhere over Thailand free matzahs and wine and agada and a little nash or whatever it is, make sure they can do their own Seder. For those that are ready to really want to have a Seder plate and all that, we have also an offer. And I'm very, very busy just reaching out to person after person, making sure that, I give them the Pesach experience and encourage them to keep Pesach this year. I have no question that Wednesday night comes, Pesach will come. There'll be a really extraordinary vibe of Pesach celebration around the world, all of us together, but all of us individually in our own homes. For us as a family, this is unprecedented. We moved here in 1993, and we're going to have our Pesach Seder just with our family, which is basically, it's going to seem strange, I'm sure, but it's also going to have something very special to it.
Can you talk about that? As you said, there's many people who are doing Pesach for the first time in their homes, maybe like you, but also there's people who are forced to be alone either because they're older or because they don't have family in town. How do you see that being special?
We in Thailand, our whole model providing Yiddishkeit in Thailand is really around the table. So every Shabbos in Thailand, we're very highly tourist-oriented community and country. We have Chabad houses that operate primarily for tourists. And every Shabbos, we can, even my shul, which is, so to speak, local, but at least 50% of those that are there on any given Shabbos are traveling business people or tourists. And even the locals, many of them are alone. They're either older people that have finished one chapter of their life in the country they came from, be it Israel or America or Europe, and they've come to open up some kind of a second, more relaxed chapter in Thailand. And the Shabbos for them means not just davening in shul. Prayers are one thing, but it's really about, we have open house Friday night in every Chabad center in Thailand and every shul in Thailand. Just over the last 2 years, we started reservations because we needed to know how many are coming. We're talking about 2,000 meals a week on an average Shabbos, and if it's the season, it can be 3,000, 4,000. So we are really oriented to having, and it's mainly about the Shabbos meal. The Shabbos meal is a time to get people that walk in as individuals. By the time the Shabbos meal is finished, they're gelled together as a community, as a one people. Having said that, particularly the single people here, the older people, for them, Shabbos is the centerpiece of their week, the ones that live here, because it's a time when they feel like they're really part of the extended family, extended Jewish family, the extended Chabad of Thailand family. And so the need for us to close that was, I would say, the hardest decision I had to make. But this is the time now that we have to just tell people, we'll send you Shabbos dinner to your home. So we've been doing it now for 3 weeks, sending people that usually come, sending them Shabbos dinner. So we're set up. And I tried to write an article. I wrote an article, how to make the Shabbos special, even when you're all alone.
Right.
At first, I thought perhaps it's not even fair to send out the article, because the easy part of the article is people that have families.
Right.
People that have families, married, children. So it's an opportunity to just realize that the nuclear family is really where you have to be putting your attention. Most of us don't put enough attention into our nuclear family. We're busy, even on Shabbos, where we don't have outside disturbances from social media, but we go to shul, we have friends, and we have guests, and especially rabbis and shluchim, Chabad shluchim are very busy on Shabbos. It can be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful experience to just be cocooned with your family on Shabbos, if you have family to be with.
Right.
Well, I was wondering, how do I send out this email now? And I know that many of the people reading it are going to be all alone. I needed to find something that, in my opinion, I would never create such a scenario, God forbid. I think I have the same questions on Hashem that we all have. Why is this happening? And we don't know. But what I do know I have to do is try and find something which can perhaps help those that are alone to try and make a better experience out of it. And I think that what the Gemara tells us, the Talmud says, he who prepares for Shabbos before Shabbos, only that person will eat on Shabbos, but you can't cook on Shabbos. So technically, what you prepare before Shabbos, you will eat on Shabbos. But there's something much deeper in there. That is, what you prepare for, when you invest in something, you truly reap the rewards of enjoying it once it's accomplished. So I told everybody, I sent out my email. Usually I send it out Friday, and sometimes it's Friday afternoon. I sent my weekly email out on Thursday, and I said, I'm sending it out on Thursday because in order for this Shabbos to be meaningful to you, you can't just show up at the Shabbos table in Chabados or in the community. We're not going to be able to offer that service now because of the restrictions. But you're going to need extra time to prepare. If you do prepare, you too will be able to have a more meaningful Shabbos than you can imagine. And that is, first of all, we'll help you with the food, we'll send you the wine, we'll send you the challahs, we'll send you a full dinner. But print something for yourself. To words of Torah, think about it in advance, unplug, and you will see, if you prepare in advance and you invest in it, you give the matter thought, you'll have a different Shabbos than you can imagine. And that's what I wanted to share with people that are doing it all alone. I can't take away their aloneness. It's going to be a lot better if they reframe it as being time for introspection, for meditation, for thinking, for relaxing, and they set up prepared for it. Then it can be a lot healthier than just falling into it and feeling really, really sad and morose about it.
Right. Same goes for the Seder.
I can't even imagine I can't even imagine the loneliness of being in a Seder alone. So, it's very, very difficult to imagine. The one thing I discovered, and last week we did it, is before Shabbos, we can do a Zoom. So last week I did a pre-Shabbos Zoom on Shabbat for like an hour before Shabbos. I made it clear to everybody it's before Shabbos. The candles are on the table; they're not lit. We did a Dvar Torah. We sang. The kids were sitting next to me. We sang Lecha Dodi. We sang Shalom Aleichem. And I'm going to be doing a pre-Seder Zoom, like start an hour and a half before Yom Tov, before the holiday comes in, and we'll do the full songs and the things. So part of the experience can be had, Zoomly, virtually. They may be alone, but they've been able to see the joy and at least virtually, vicariously participate in the spirit of the Shabbos with the family sitting around the table.
Right.
And Pesach, we'll do even more. We'll try and make it even more interactive with the kids, asking for questions, because we can, whatever we can do to supplement things, with the virtual gift that we have of connectivity. Imagine this happening in 1918, where people have no one to speak to.
Yeah.
So we have that gift, and we have to try and use those gifts. Of course, not God forbid compromising even one iota on every nuance of halacha, but even within that framework, there's so much we can do to try and help people cope during this time.
And hopefully that buoys them into Yom Tov, into Shabbos with the interaction.
It's obviously still sad, but
yeah,
that's a question on the Almighty. We can't change that. We can just try and do our best, to put a smile on our faces.
Right.
We try and do our best to connect people, but no question about it. This year in Bangkok, I can say for me in Bangkok, the emphasis is really, really on reaching out one by one. It takes time to reach out one by one.
Yeah.
Try and give everybody have the most inspiring Pesach experience they can have.
Thank you so much. And we hope you have the most inspiring experience of Pesach that you can have. And we should all celebrate it together in Jerusalem. That would be the ideal.
Amen. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
All the best.
Thank you all for joining us. That brings this series of When Jewish Life Goes Viral to a conclusion. We wish you all a happy Passover. We hope you've enjoyed, and please let us know your thoughts.